Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the first ever episode of the TBScouts Talking Heads podcast. Your host, Boris Davis, and co-host, Coach Eric Talley.
Yes, sir. We are here.
So, Talley, go ahead and kind of let everybody know what's the purpose of us getting together and wanting to do a show, a podcast that's consistent, you had mentioned before, it's actually going to be a show, something we're going to try to do every single week. So
Yes.
Talk to the people and let them know what the vision is for this show.
All right. The whole vision, not to make it too long, is just to honestly give some shout outs and some special notices and notoriety to the smaller schools, the 3As, the 4As, and some 5As. And also, let's definitely do a better job of trying to make sure we follow those middle school kids and show how important of the development from the middle school level being made better to help out the high school level. And I think we're really starting to see that here and through the playoffs of all the teams from San Antonio that actually made the playoffs. And that's kind of our first topic.
Yeah.
Two of the three schools from San Antonio that's actually made the state tournament.
Yep. Out of the entire state, it's down to, 4 schools per division, I guess?
Yes.
And out of all of those, well, actually not that many. If you got 4 per division, what is that? Do they have
1
1A?
to 6. Yeah, 1 to 6. So
about 24 schools.
Yep, 24.
Out of the entire state of Texas, the entire big state, out of 24, you got 3 of them coming from San Antonio and the surrounding areas, we'll call them. And honestly, I think schools in Bernie, that's part of San Antonio.
It is.
Sometimes people try to separate those, those two communities or whatever. No,
can't do that.
If you're close, like Bernie is a part of San Antonio, and I say they're a part of San Antonio, just like how I know you believe it too. So.
Oh no, it is. Again, think about it. We got so many kids that come from Bernie, New Braunfels, come to play for us.
Mm-hmm. You're right, New Braunfels, Seguin, right?
Yes.
We'll call all of that San Antonio.
That's San Antonio. That's once they make it, they're identified as the San Antonio area. So with that being said, we got 3. 3A, we got one of my favorites, Cole.
Mm-hmm.
4A, we got Bernie champions.
No, Bernie Champions 5A.
See, that's okay. So they representing too.
Yep.
So right there alone, it's letting you know there's a lot of good talent out there. They're just doing a great job showing that basketball can be played at a certain level and played well, and it's on the map.
And they all deserve some love. And also, as I'm just thinking about some of these smaller divisions, like in the 4A, Somerset also. I know that there's a really good player out of there. Shout out to Shane Perales. He just played his last game. But kids in those 4A, sometimes they don't get talked about as much. Sometimes
they don't.
I was looking through some of the live streams and stuff, and they were only live streaming the 6A games.
Of course.
And it was like, well, what about you had to really search to find the 5A games that were being televised or talked about or whatever. So that's why, the purpose of this show, we call it the Talking Heads, because we don't represent anybody, or we're not affiliated. We're just, like you said, 2 talking heads, our opinions.
That's it.
And if you like our opinions, great. And if you don't like our opinions, still thank you for listening. We appreciate
Give us
the
the
love. And maybe let us know so we can have some other topics for other shows, because what we do need to have is, when people have differing opinions, it doesn't always need to be an argument.
Correct.
They can have a conversation.
Correct. That's all it is. It's just a conversation. Say, hey, this is how I see it, and this is how you see it, and let's meet somewhere in the middle. And at the end of the day, we're still enjoying something we love, basketball.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so with that being said, it's just all we're trying to do is get it talked about, as far as you don't have to go to the 6A school to still be noticed from colleges, or just how good of a basketball player you can be.
Yeah, I think that an emphasis on the college aspect of it, because that's one thing also that we want to do with this show, is help college coaches know about these good players at these 3A, 4A, 5A schools, because there's some talented D1, D2 hoopers D3, and NAIA to give respect to all levels, even JUCO.
Yes.
So the purpose of this show is to, give some love to the smaller schools, but also help educate the people on opportunities that's out there, and
Yes.
just how big and how great this basketball thing is.
And one of my favorite things is the middle school. Get them playing some kind of development basketball as early as you can. I'm not going to say first and second grade, but I'm definitely going to say fifth and sixth grade. Please find some kind of league or some kind of team or organization to just get your kid playing, because you don't want the first time they play organized basketball be seventh grade. And then it's almost not too late, but it could be too late for some kids, because again, playing basketball in seventh grade with a bunch of kids that's already developed, that's hard. It's really, really hard, because those motor skills just don't sometimes work well then. You might be athletic, but shooting the ball and dribbling and passing can be kind of tough for you. But if you start early enough, hey man, it just makes everybody's job easier when it starts to get to high school.
Yeah, and that's your area of specialties with the middle school. And,
Yes.
I know that when I've gone to some of the things that you've been doing with your organization and, your events, it opened my eyes up because, I focus so much on high school. But I was actually impressed with the, little young men that were in high school, So,
Yes.
I'm sorry, in middle school. But just to kind of rein things in a little bit for today's episode, some of the topics that we're going to talk about today is, so at the time of this recording is Sunday, March 6th, and there's been a lot of basketball that's taken place over the last week.
Yes.
There's, like we were talking about earlier, there was games that was on Tuesday, on Friday, on Saturday, and here we are on Sunday. But we're going to go over mainly what went down on Friday and Saturday back to back.
Yes.
And shout out to all those players that play back to back. You play a tough game on Friday, then you don't know who you're going to play, and you play, well, in Champions, in Bernie Champion's case, they played on Friday evening, and then they played at 2 o'clock on Saturday.
Yeah.
I don't know, and for Cole, I'm sure they played on Friday and Saturday as well,
We
right?
had it worse because we had an 8 o'clock game that did not happen at 8 o'clock because the game before them, the Marion, Bulldogs versus Bishop. I don't know, I think they're the Bisons, I believe. I think it's the Bishop Bisons. But anyway, that game went into double overtime. So with going into double overtime, it ended late. So we didn't quite start at 8 o'clock. We started at 8:30.
And is that a.m.?
No, this is Friday night.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, so they Cole didn't tip off until 8:30.
Okay, late
And then won that game, and then they played Corpus Christi, London, finished that game, won, and then turned around and played 1 o'clock Marion.
Dang, yeah, okay.
So that's a short hour of sleep there, and you getting right back up, getting ready to play again. That's tough.
And tough competition.
Yes.
Like these aren't just regular non-district games.
No.
These are
Marion earned their way there. They really did. They did a really good job playing. And they played a tough Bishop team that I think within the next 2 years for sure they're going to be a handful, because they got two good players right there that I knew, that I saw them when they were younger from the AAU circuit, and man, they really played their butt off. So that's going to be a tough team within the next few years.
nice. All right, so for the show then, we'll talk about a little bit more in depth about a couple of teams that we're fan faves of.
Of course.
A little recap from the games that we saw on Friday and Saturday, and then also what are some of the other topics we're going to cover today once we get away from the playoff talk.
We're going to give a shout out to my guy, Rick Nelson, with the TYBL. He does a little, you can call it stands for Texas Youth Basketball League, where he starts it off in Dallas and it ends in Houston. We're going to talk about that. He had it this weekend here in San Antonio. As usual, he does a great job. Had quite a few teams out there, including the 80 Elite guys, and they put on a good show. And he brought a few guys from Houston and I believe a few guys from Dallas. And then our event we're doing here, the Military Showcase in August 6th, it's going to be at Central Catholic High School. So let's be our topics of the day.
Cool. All right. Well, I guess for starters and for the team kind of introductions, and I can kick it off. One of the teams that I'm a big fan of and that I've been following is Bernie Champion. Bernie Champion is in Region 4, 5A. And just to kind of give a rundown of their team, Bernie Champion has a very strong squad. I would say that they're kind of led by their star players. I would say is Jesse Pert. He's a 2022 shooting guard. Can also play the point guard position for them and can make plays happen. Very athletic and very fun to watch. But Jesse also has a strong supportive cast with him as well. He's got junior Braden Baum, who's 6'6", very long player, very critical to the team's success. Scores inside the paint, but he can also shoot the ball. And he's had games where he's just gone off from beyond the three-point line. So kind of poses that dual threat where he can, shoot the ball, but then also he's long and can get inside. They also have a senior, Braxton Burdick.
Yeah.
He's about 6'4", so he plays the shooting guard position as well. Just a very tough kid.
He is.
I'll just say he's just a tough kid.
He is.
Very strong frame.
He packs his lunch every time he comes to play.
Yeah, he does. Doesn't leave. I mean, he leaves everything out there on the floor.
He's tough.
Goes after the ball, rebounding, and he can shoot the ball as well. There's been some plays that they've run where he's sitting deep, from and can shoot it from range and, cashes in.
Yeah.
Let's see, who else do they have? Owen Tate. Owen Tate has been very critical to Champion's success. He's a senior as well, and he is an amazing three-point shooter. He's had games where he's gone off for like 7 3-pointers in a game, and these last 2 games, I feel like his shooting and scoring has just changed the momentum of the game.
Right.
So big shout out to Owen Tate. He has, I think throughout the whole season, he was kind of one of those players that wasn't really talked about as much, but in the playoffs, he shined through, and his shooting has just carried the team. So big shout out to Owen Tate. They also have Hunter Lamkin. He's a senior as well. He's just one of those guys on the team that usually plays like a point guard position. He's a little bit smaller player, but plays with a lot of heart. And he's had a couple of drives. It's kind of funny when you see him go in against some bigger guys, but he's gotten a couple of buckets. They also have sophomore Charlie Georgelos. He's about like 6'2", and he plays a lot bigger than his actual size. He gets a lot of rebounds, and it's funny because he comes out of nowhere and just gets them, and he does it consistently. He's also had some pretty important plays on the defensive end, like when it's crunch time. He's locked down some of his opponents and contributes on the defensive end. Kind of makes those plays that sometimes you might not always see him on the stat sheet, but he's definitely had a hand in the game and the outcome of the game.
Right.
Also, want to mention they have another sophomore, Ryan Erdos. He's probably the biggest kid on the team, 6'7". He's still kind of developing right now. But I think that next year when he gets a little bit more developed, grows into his body, he's got a big body and solid. But once he learns how to use that in the post, he'll be a big threat. And I've seen him go off earlier in the season, and dominate in the paint. But I think during the playoffs, he's going up against older players and everyone. The intensity's a lot, and I don't know if he's been quite ready for that yet, but definitely has the potential. So. I think he'll be an impactful player going into next season for Ryan Erdos. And that's pretty much it. There's some other players on the team. Just want to give love to all the players on Champion. Even if I, forgot to mention your name, my bad. Jackson Marshall, that's one name. But just as a group, the guys all support each other.
Right.
And it doesn't necessarily matter who's making all the points. When they win as a team.
Yeah.
So big shout out to Champion for just their camaraderie and good leadership with their coach as well. So I know it's kind of a detailed rundown for champion, but now I'll allow you to. And the reason why we're going so far in depth with these is because, like we mentioned before, sometimes these smaller schools, you people don't know about the players.
Don't know them at all.
So we're given the opportunity to use our platform and talk about, the teams that we like and support. And, we support all the teams in the area, but some of the teams that we follow a little bit closer. So without further ado, if you want to go ahead and enlighten us about Cole.
What I'll do, I'll just go over what I feel are the guys as far as that I seen to play the most, where how Coach Cantu kind of does his rotation. So I'll just mention the guys I've seen, how he rotated all year. So again, because both last games, he allowed his whole team to play because of the scores. But so they're led by 3 seniors, Silas Livingston, Trey Blackmore, and Dre Ray. And all 3 of those guys on any given night, they're going to give you anywhere between, collectively, they're going to probably give you close to 55 points. So with that being said, that's tough. 3 seniors on a team, a senior-led team giving you 55 points. Dude, that's the first team to 50 usually wins that. So with that being said, of course, everybody knows about those guys. So we're not going to really dwell on them.
Well, why don't you just take a minute, though, just to talk about each one? Yeah.
All right. So you got, I'll start off with Trey Blackmore. He's the guy, like, when you see him play, you definitely understand why he got a D1 scholarship, because the way he fills the bucket, he can score from all 3 levels. Like I said, I think this year he got to either 1,500 or 2,000 points this year. So again, that's I'm starting to notice in this basketball high school world, that's hard to get. 1,000 points is a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he got at least 1,500 already. I believe it's 1,500 though. That's tough. And so led by him, and then followed by right behind him points wise is Silas Livingston, a small guard, another D1 guy. Man, he plays a lot bigger than what he is. If you look at him, you're like, oh no, I'm gonna give him work. No, you're not. You're not gonna give him work, because again, he matter of fact, in the last 2 games, he led all scorers. Last 2 games with 23 and 29. So that's pretty big. Here he picked the biggest 2 games to really shine, or 2 of the biggest games to shine and really show, hey, don't worry, I got this. And he led the way. Dre Ray, to me, this guy is to do it all. He does it all. He scores, he gets double-doubles, he rebounds. There's times that he's the guy playing the 5. And if you see his size, you're like, there's no way he's playing the 5. He's playing the 5, and he's holding it down. Then you have, James Livingston, Silas's little brother, and he did a great job this year. To me, watching him play the last 2 games, he's one of the best defenders I've seen play.
And what grade is he?
He's a sophomore. He's a 2024.
Okay, he still has a lot of time.
Yeah, he got 2. He's going to help hopefully lead the team next year with him, Marcel Hutchison. He's a junior, and so Marcel's 6'7", 6'8", so he's a big body guy. Really can rebound. Few things we got to work on, playing his back to the basket, but for the most part, turn around, and he can just play all around. And as far as being a big man, need a little polish, but for the most part, he's going to be really, really good for them next year. They got another young man, Kenny, can't pronounce his last name, so I'm not going to let it roll off my tongue. I'll screw it up. But him, he's the number 3 tight end in the state of Texas. So he's a football kid, but again, he can play. He plays huge, and he really gave Cole a great fit this year for what they needed and what he did for them, to the point to where as though it wasn't about all the points, but it's just about the possessions, playing defense and playing offense for them, and he did a really good job. And then they had 2 others, Pierre Harris and Amari Chester. Pierre's a 2024. Amari's a senior this year, but both of those guys coming off the bench really gave the guys a rest, to where as though, hey, we're going to come in, we're going to do our job. And those 2 did a great job. Pierre shot the ball well. Amari is just all over the floor. He does it all. I call him like a utility knife guy, because he goes and he takes charges. He's diving on the ball. I'm diving on the floor for the ball. So it's not just, hey, I'm coming in for my rotation. No, he's coming in trying to make sure he stays on the floor. So those are pretty much the guys that played majority of the minutes, had the rotation what the coach had all year. And honestly, like I said, having that three seniors, Trey Blackmore, Silas Livingston, and Dre Ray, I mean, that's just hard to beat. That's just tough. You can't having that many seniors and that are that good playing. They've all played AAU basketball for hard work, and you can see the work that they put into them to make sure that these three guys, played at that level. So I got to give little props to the AAU scene and hard work what they did, because they all played for them, and they were part of that success they have right now.
Nice. All right. Well, I'm sure that the people learned about a couple of names that they probably didn't know about before. Let's talk about the most recent. So we got the state tournament is about to kick off on Thursday. The semifinals, but both Bernie Champion and Cole are going to be playing in the state tournament, and it's because of their performances from Friday night and Saturday.
Yes.
When they played. So on Friday, which was March 4th, I know Champion played against McAllen, and Cole played against Corpus Christi London. And I'll lead by kind of just going over Champion's game from Friday.
Okay.
And then you can talk about Cole's game from Friday.
Correct.
But on Friday, Champion played against McAllen. And they're from McAllen, Texas, about 3 hours away. And, like this far into playoffs and postseason, that all of the games are going to be good, because
they are.
No bad team, or you can't just get here by luck at this, this late in the game. So it was a good game. The final score of that game was 61-50. Champion won on Friday. But it was a pretty fast-paced game. I was looking at the score comparison to Saturday's game, and they scored more points on Friday's game. Each team just kind of went back and forth. Looking at some of the stats from Friday's game versus McAllen, Jesse Pert had 19 points. Braden Baum had 20 points. Charlie Georgelos had 11 points, and Braxton Burdick had 10 points. So, a lot of the team got involved. It wasn't just one player that, led the way. I will say that there was one player on McAllen, and off the top of my head, I can't remember what number he was, but there was a player on McAllen that was pretty dominant in the paint. And he had me a little worried at one point, because it looked like he was going to be unstoppable.
Yeah.
But it was a good game, a good effort by McAllen, but Champion pulled away with the victory. So
right.
Happy to see that.
Of course, you always want to see our team win. Matter of fact, I think that's why I owed you lunch one time. But we'll talk about that at a later date.
I'm glad you held up. You were a man of your word, man.
Always, man. I took you where you wanted to go too. The Cheesecake
expensive.
Factory.
Nice.
Got me in trouble with my wife on that one. She saw that expense of the Cheesecake Factory. Had to explain to her. Champions got us down to Laredo. So yeah.
So you want to go ahead and talk about
Cole?
Yeah, on Friday's Friday's game.
So it's certain teams that Cole plays that I kind of get a little nervous about. And the reason why, because last year, the same team that we played this year, we played them last year, and when we split with them. Of course, we won when it mattered, of course, so that was good. But we split with them last year, so I was kind of nervous about this year because we didn't see them, and it's Corpus Christi, London. So the final score was 55-35, and it was one of those games that they allowed the player to get hot, and they allowed one of the wrong players because it was one of their big three. He scored 7 threes in the game. It was Silas Livingston, so he ended up with 23. Trey ended up with 11, and Dre ended up with 11 also.
Nice.
So again,
Silas hit 7 threes?
7 threes. So you hit 7 threes in the game. And then, then one thing I commend their coach on, Coach Cantu, he does a great job of making his guys play man. So they play a lot of man, and they picked up pretty much, what's that, 94 feet or 84?
No, 94.
94?
Yeah.
So they picked up 94 feet and did their thing. And like I say, they grinded it out to where as though, it's a 20-point lead, a 20-point difference. But at the same time, it was because of the great shooting of Silas. And then again, their defense was.
Yeah, I was
really
going to say the
too.
defense must only hold them to 35
Yeah,
points.
they locked down.
That's pretty good.
It was a really good. Like I told you, first one to 50 usually wins. So that's what happened. So.
And what was the gym like after Silas hits 7 threes? Because I know anytime that a player goes off like that.
Oh, he was cooking. So the gym was just like, hey, it was a tough game. It was a great atmosphere. It was a game.
Okay, so is that I guess Seguin's that kind of considered the home turf or not really?
No, so it's it's 3As for our region. That's where we always play. Last year was the only place, I guess. It's the neutral location for everybody to play. And last year we didn't play there, but the year before and the year before that, both always been in Seguin. So I don't know if it's that. I don't know. We probably need to find that out of why they picked the locations of where they picked. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Seguin was our home or neutral site for us to play.
Yeah, for Bernie Champion, their neutral site was actually in NEISD at the Blossom Athletic Center. So great facility, beautiful facility, and
it is. Is that the one where you sit up high and Yep. That is great. That is a great atmosphere to play in, and a person who records is great too.
Yeah,
because you don't have a bad view. You know what I'm saying? You just got to have a good camera that can zoom in and. You good. You have that wide lens look, and you can just catch all the action. Yeah. You don't miss anything coming from above. So
yeah, beautiful facility and excellent staff, concessions and all that's good, popping. So
cool, what about Saturday? How was Saturday's game?
So Saturday was good. On Saturday they played against Veterans Memorial.
Right.
That was a game that everybody was looking forward to because Veterans Memorial had beaten Champion twice already before.
Both times this season because they're in the district, right?
The previous 2 games that they played, Champion was 0 for 2 going against them.
So you guys, make sure I got this right. So you guys haven't beat them this year. Mm-mm. So both times in district, y'all lost. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yep.
Wow, and that's very hard to do.
Yeah, and the third game. Champion came out really strong in the first quarter.
So how was the atmosphere, though? Since this was a district game, unlike, the first game wasn't a district. It was just McAllen, right? Or who did y'all play again the first game?
Yeah, it was McAllen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was, I guess, that's right that you mentioned that in that deep in the playoffs, there was actually 2 teams still in the running that were in the same district.
And both from San Antonio. So that meant that there was a lot of people in the stands supporting, cheering their teams on, getting loud. Yes.
It was funny, man. At that game, they had each team kind of had like a person that was kind of doing the spirit and cheering everybody up. They had Veterans Memorial had some guy doing the gritty dance down the line. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Getting everybody hyped and it was good, man. Final score on that game was 51-46. So, what's that? A 5-point difference only. So it was a very close game. Not a very high scoring game. With 51-46. So a lot of good defense. Each team just kind of playing scrappy, going after it, and just playing hard.
Yeah.
One thing that did kind of get me a little bit nervous about the game versus Veterans Memorial is, one of the leading players, Jesse Pert, he got into foul trouble early. He picked up 4 fouls real early in the game. Yeah. So, he had to come out, and then also when you go back in and you only have 1 foul left, you could pick that foul up playing defense, or if you don't, you can get it if you do a charge even. So I think in your mind, you're not going to play 100% knowing that you only got 1 foul left.
You're going to sag off more than you probably could or should.
Yeah, so Jesse was still able to contribute 10 points overall and had some good plays and some assists getting the team involved. But, got to give a shout-out to the supporting cast. Owen Tate, did well. Braden Baum, Braxton Burdick, Charlie, they all picked up, and Champion was able to seal the deal.
Okay.
And they'll be playing on Thursday.
And who y'all play again?
On Thursday, Champion is going to be playing against Mansfield Timberview.
Okay.
So
any scouting intel you might want to about them yet?
no, I don't know much about Mansfield Timberview.
Just know they come from Mansfield. Huh?
Yeah, I just know that they come from Mansfield, so that's like kind of in the Arlington
Right, Dallas
area, kind
yep.
of Dallas area, and we all know that if you come from the Dallas area, chances are you can ball.
You hooping. You doing your job. You doing your job.
But yeah, they'll be playing on Thursday for 5A. They played at 8:30, so they have the late game on Thursday. Playing right before them is going to be at 7 o'clock is Beaumont United versus Dallas Kimball.
Ooh, Beaumont, they're tough.
So I don't know much about those teams. And it doesn't surprise me that if they are tough teams. But that's what we have to look forward to on Thursday. So Thursday 8:30. Bernie Champion's going to play against Mansfield Timberview.
Okay.
And let's see if they can get it. I mean, one thing about Bernie Champion is the team, they rise to the challenge.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they got a good coach, too, though.
Oh, yeah.
So
Adam Mack is a great.
I watched him coach, and I got my hat goes, I tip my hat to him because I watched him. Down there in Laredo, and he did a good job with him. So to get this far, you can't just say, well, hey, I got good players, because you got to know what to do with those good players. So, yeah.
Keep motivated.
Exactly.
So talk to us about Cole. Who are they playing on Thursday?
Well, we playing Hitchcock. They're out of they're southeast of Houston, right there by the coast. Don't know that much about them yet. Haven't really looked at them as far as what they can do well. But I know they're the number one team from their district, of course. They didn't lose any district games either, so they did really well in their district. So obviously they're going to be tough to play. They're not going to let us walk in and just beat them. But
Has Cole played them before?
No, never played them. So, but we played in our, guess what, semifinal game leading up to this. We played Marion for the third time. And like I told you, it's tough to beat a team 3 times. But I think they were so gassed from their game before, they just didn't have enough.
So what, y'all play Marion on Thursday?
We played them on Friday.
You played them on Friday?
Yeah. I'm sorry, Saturday.
On
Them on Saturday, yeah. So that was our game leading to allow us to get to the state tournament.
And Cole beat them 3 times in a row?
We beat them 3 times this year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So there's the whole superstition sometimes people say about
it's hard to
beat them 3 times in a row, but that's good they got them.
But I think they were tired though. They were really just gassed. They just didn't. I don't think they had enough in the tank to really, because they came out kind of flat. Looked like to me, they tried. They fought a good fight, but we got them 71-37. So
wow.
Again, great defense too. Played by Cole. Did a great job.
So that was the score on Saturday's game?
Saturday's game, 71-37.
They beat them by over 30 points?
Yeah. Yeah, and they
34 points?
They put up
Dang.
a good fight, but like I said, I think they were gassed because they played two overtimes. So leading up to that, they played 2 overtimes, and that's what I'm saying. I think they were just tired. They were just gassed, the night before. I'm probably sure they were happy to advance because for the last 4 years, Cole has been here in this situation. So it's nothing new to them. But for Marion, if I'm correct, this is the furthest they ever been in the last 4 years I'm going to talk about.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, shout out to them.
And then they were led, of course, their big 3 did their thing. Silas had 29, Trey had 12, and Dre had 10. So they did their thing. And like I said, we played Hitchcock. Everyone got a chance to play in that game. Cantu emptied the bench for the most part for the last 4 minutes. Last 4 minutes, he let all his guys get in there. So that's one time, we got to see what's coming up after these 3. And they look like they got a decent squad. They need to play a little bit together. But again, they got some sophomores and a junior that's going to be pretty good. gonna be pretty good. Hopefully they can all just. And I know one thing about Coach Ken too. He's gonna reel it all in. That's one thing he's good at. So I think they'll be okay.
Nice. All right. Well,
And our game is gonna be on Thursday at 3:00 at the Alamo Dome.
oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
3:00.
both of these games or all of these games are going to be played at the Alamo Dome. Tickets go on sale to the public tomorrow, I believe.
Yes.
On Ticketmaster, and then also if you want to get the inside scoop or the inside, intel to the tickets, just go follow your favorite team and see if they have some stuff that they post on their Twitter feeds
Or
and stuff
social
like
media.
that.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's how you can get the links to some of the early ticket sales if you can find them, but they're out there. All right, so we'll go ahead then and shift topic.
TYBL.
So talk to us. What is TYBL?
Texas Youth Basketball League. The gentleman who started that, who runs that, is Rick Nelson. To me, that's a great job. Again, that's when me and you first met. That's one of the first events in Austin that we met, and I've been a fan, and we've been supporting it since then. So our 2024 was in I think fourth or fifth grade, I believe. Because, it was our seventh grade that went, and guess where you captured Silas. So, yeah. So we've been a fan since then.
And what is it? Is it a tournament? Is it a tour? Is it a circuit?
So
how would you best describe it?
It's like a circuit. So it starts in Dallas. So it starts in Dallas in January. You play 4 games per city. So you go Dallas, Austin, San Antonio, and then Houston. And the way he does it is a seeding. So each city you play 4 games.
So is that there's what,
So it's like a
16 games?
16 games. No, at least 12. And then the seeding goes, you're going to play at least 3 to 4 more in Houston. So you're seeded, and then we go from there. So your first 3 stops, so Dallas, Austin, and Houston, collectively get all your wins and losses, and then he seeds you in Houston, and then you go from there.
So how does it work? Like when each team will play how many games in each city?
4.
4 games, and is that in one day or is it spread across multiple days? Or
2
what?
days. So it's a 2-day event.
Okay,
So
it'd
Saturday
be
and Sunday.
a Saturday and a Sunday event like in Dallas, and then a 2-day event in Austin, 2-day event in. Okay, so it's a total of like four different weekends.
Yeah. 4 different weekends in 4 different cities.
Okay.
And then, of course, the last stop is in Houston.
Okay, all right. Now I got you.
So it's like a little league
Now
or
I'm
a
tracking.
showcase, it's like a showcase leading up to a league to a tournament.
I guess it's a circuit because you got the same.
Exactly.
There's certain teams that register, and those teams are kind of like
Correct.
locked in for the whole circuit, right?
Yes.
So you can keep track of their stats,
Yes.
and when you do the pairings and rankings and all of
Correct.
that, since you have kind
Not
of
so
like
much
a
rankings, but just he knows he's
just
keeping
stats.
score.
I mean, like more like stats.
Yeah, correct. Yep, that's it. And so we played today and yesterday. So it was this weekend here in San Antonio. We got some good teams. It was just a tough weekend because a lot of teams were played out of town. I think John Lucas has his annual basketball tournament, so quite a few teams went there. But he still had, 80 Elite there. Future was there. Team out of Dallas, CSA, was there. A team out of Austin, New Era. Who else? There's quite a few other teams there. And, of course, they, all played their best. Oh, this other team called Triumph Gold or Triumph Basketball. They have a gold team and a black team. And they always support that, and they do really well.
So that's good then. So the TYBL circuit is going on right now. This was the first weekend of it, or
So San Antonio was the 3rd stop. So this was the 3rd stop out of 4.
Oh, so this has already been going on then.
Oh yeah, it started in January.
Okay, here I am thinking this circuit was about to start in the summer, but it's already been going on. So
that's why. And so what made me fall in love with it was the fact that it's mainly for middle school to elementary school. So it focuses on middle school play. So it starts in January, February, March, and then ends in April, right when AAU really kicks off. So it's like
Okay.
a good way to get your AAU program doing something, staying busy.
Year round.
You can use the TYBL as a circuit beginner to where to get your guys involved just to play AAU basketball if you really want to try to, play in multiple cities. Because if you think about it, you start in Dallas, you play in Austin, you play here.
Yeah, it's good you can travel.
So you just hit all four major cities here in the state, and you get to see great basketball. So in Houston, he's going to have a lot of Houston teams. Some Dallas teams will travel. We're going to travel. Some other San Antonio teams. Austin's going to travel. So it should end well. And every year, it always is a great event to go to. COVID kind of locked us down for the last 2 years, but outside of that, it's still a great event to be part of. Like last year was great. We didn't get the 80 Elite didn't finish the way we wanted to, but again, it still was a good event. And I'm not going to take the fact we didn't win to say it wasn't a good event, because it really was.
Is there like a championship at the very end or something?
It is. Yeah. You get a Blinky. I think he has. Yeah, since due to COVID, we only had one bracket, so he didn't have enough teams to do two brackets for left and right. For the most part, it was just one bracket. So, but it still was a good event.
It's good and good competition, and if it's
Great
for a circuit, the kids can't help but develop.
Correct.
Because if you lose a game, or you get a chance to play a team again, you can kind of change some things up and learn how to adapt and change your game. So that's good. And at that middle school level, I know that you're big on development and stuff like that too. So, and they take it serious. So, nice.
Yeah. So, like I say, for me overall, it's probably one of the better events to do within the state of Texas that you can kind of put yourself on, get to see a lot of good basketball from every level, from the high level, low level, and mid. And that's what you want to do as you're trying to get your program off the ground, or just trying to get your program to get kids to play different styles, because they get to see it all. So like, San Antonio's a different play than Austin. Same thing for Dallas, and same thing for Houston. So for me, it's a great measuring stick to see where we're at. And so we've done a great job progressing. So we'll see. We'll see next month if we can bring home the ship.
Nice. And so when does that circuit end? How many more months or weekends?
Just one more. The last stop is in Austin. It's going to be on the 23rd to the 24th of Austin.
Okay.
In Houston. I'm sorry, 23rd to the 24th of April. I said Austin. I'm tripping.
Okay.
23rd to 24th of
next
April
month
in Houston.
Okay. Nice.
So yeah, it's going to be really, really good. I think that's even during the live period for the high school.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be kind of tough duty, but it's going to be fun.
A lot of basketball at all different levels, high school, middle school.
Right.
Cool. So what's next?
Then we're going to talk about the military showcase.
All right.
So
yeah. So obviously that's your baby. I'll start off by just saying, from what I saw last year at your military showcase, military city showcase, you had some good kids there, man.
They did.
And it's funny because I think when I think of middle school, I think of like I had the stigma or the stereotype that it was going to be like babies playing.
Mm-hmm.
But these aren't babies. They're like little young men.
Yes.
8th grade young men. They're smart. They're respectful, and they're just a little bit smaller than the high school. Some of them.
Yeah, no, right. Logan's a big boy.
Some of them are big.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So talk to us. The Military City Showcase is your event. So go ahead and let us know. And this is way in advance because you're not even having it until.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do a lot better plugging it this year than I did last year. Last year I felt like I just kind of not threw it together, but last minute threw it together. It's something I wanted to do. I feel the city needs, from my point of view, needs something like this to just allow the kids to play, get recognized by, or just get seen also by some of the high school writers.
Yeah. On that note, it's great that you have last year you had some big names like Jim Hicks,
Tim Littlefield.
Tim Littlefield was there.
My guy that you worked with a lot.
You had
Russell,
Coach V.
Yeah.
Yep, Coach
Russell
V was
Van
out there.
Landeham.
and Nelson, right?
Yeah, Rick Nelson was there.
So here you are, you have these big high school
Yes.
high school evaluators at your middle school events,
Yes.
giving those middle school kids exposure that they probably don't even recognize that they're getting, because you have
Yes.
the elite high school evaluators all in attendance, getting eyes on some of the younger talent at your event. So kudos to you
Oh, thank you.
for doing that, because it's all about exposure. And when you can't have college coaches sitting there, the next best thing is respected evaluators. And you had
Exactly.
like 4 different, not to mention you had me in there doing film and covering the event from a media standpoint. So all those kids got exposure. 8th graders got, 6th and 7th and 8th graders got more exposure than some
What
high schoolers and some people,
the true biggest thing, and one of the things I want to make sure I bring attention to, is we have one local guy here. We have 2, really, if I'm correct. I might be wrong, but if I'm right, we have Alamo City Hoops, and we have Tim Littlefield here. And to me, those guys need to know as many middle school basketball players as they can know now. So when they develop and get into high school, it's not a foreign name to them. I don't want some of the guys that play for me or in some of the other programs that gave us support not to know who those guys are. I want them to know early and say, hey, oh, okay, that guy, okay, man, wow. I'm gonna keep my eye out on them, and that's important. That's the part of that why I want to make sure me and you do the talking heads, and it's that allow the guys that don't get the shine to get the opportunity to make sure they get seen, and that's what the whole purpose of the showcase is about. It's not so much about all the well-known guys where it's quite a few of them already known, but it's the other guys to give them opportunity to say, hey, look at me, I'm here. I'm playing over here in maybe not the bigger schools that get a lot of shine, but a Voss middle school or something like that, to say, hey, we play too. I got some guys over there. So with that being said, that's why, we only gonna have 40 slots. I'm purposely cutting it off. I'm trying to get a group out here to come. I'm trying to get Coach Pittman to join us with Equity, to be part of what we're doing, and also a program that came out to help us 2 years ago. They were part of the GASO. They do all the evaluations, not the evaluations, but they do all the measurements on the kids.
Okay, the combine, like the biology stuff.
The biology. I'm in talks with them right now to see if I can get them to come. And if we get them to come, that's going to be huge, because they're going to do all the measurements and make sure, the kids know what they look like as far as what they match up to. So, hey, if you're talking about a kid that once was a D1, here's what he measured out at in middle school, and here's what you look like. So now you have something to compare to, and if this basketball thing is something you really want to do, hey, now you know where you are at. So that's important.
Nice. And this is, still quite a ways out for your military
Yes.
showcase. So when again, what month is this
We're
in?
gonna do it on August 6th, so it's pretty much a dead month. Nothing's going on. No big events are going on. AAU should be pretty much over with. So you got your local tournaments being held. So it shouldn't really interfere with, a lot of kids saying, well, hey, my team can't play because my team's playing over here. So it's during a dead time as far as AAU ball, August 6th, and it's going to be at Central Catholic High School in beautiful gym.
Yeah, Central Catholic High School is nice.
And like I said, we only take in 27s and 28s. I'm going to leave the 26s alone and allow them to go. They need to be focused on the GASO. GASO does a great job with their incoming freshman class for their showcase. You have a great event that you do, incoming freshmen and high school players. There's a few others. So that's what that's what their focus should be.
So for yours, that you're focusing on the 27s and 28s, what is that? What grade levels are those?
We're talking 7th grade and 6th grade.
Okay.
So they'll be going incoming 8th grade and incoming 7th grade.
Okay, so really, the kids that are still going to be in middle school.
Correct.
If you're leaving middle school this year, then that's not really for you.
like I
You're
told
one of the
you.
guys that are still staying in middle school, even after this summer. They're still going to be in middle school.
Correct.
So you got to be a true middle schooler,
Yes.
not these late blooming
No.
8th graders that try to say, well, 8th graders about to be freshmen,
No, yeah.
trying to fit into the
No.
middle school group.
And what I tell all my kids that's in our program, 80 Elite, and the Sharks, that honestly what their focus should be is whatever the high school is having. So if you're an 8th grader going into high school, your focus needs to be that high school workout program for that summer. You shouldn't be trying to worry about what middle school kids are doing. Your focus needs to be with high school, 'cause that's where you're playing at.
Mm-hmm.
That's your next level.
Don't try to dominate and get
Exactly.
LeBron numbers.
Exactly.
Because you're the big man on campus.
Yeah. Go ahead, get out there and go to high school and get in there and show that high school coach what the incoming freshmen look like.
Nice.
And make that's the program you should be focusing on. So for me, that's why, I'm just sticking with the middle school and trying to keep true to that. That's why it's a privilege to work with you. Also, at times, work with Tim Littlefield, because to me, you guys are my subject matter experts when it comes to high school. I'm just a homer when it comes to Cole. You know what I'm saying? I am. Again, Cole is, where my heart is
Hey,
at.
man, some people we got to represent for the smaller names, and we know that it is also hard for some of these evaluators to cover every single school.
Correct.
So that's why when we have an opportunity like the TBScouts Talking Heads podcast, where we have a chance to talk about whatever we want to talk about and shine some light on some of these schools that might be a little bit underrepresented or under talked about, and also some of the good things going on around town, like
Right.
like your showcase and what all you have going on for the middle school hoopers, because we don't want to leave them out too.
No, we don't. And so what we're going to do for that, going back to the military showcase, we're going to go ahead and get a link up next month that you can go ahead and register early. Because again, once I get 40 slots filled, I will not do past 40. And the only reason why, I want to keep it pure and those who really want
Quality.
to. Yeah, that's all. I'm not looking for numbers. Again, I don't do basketball to get rich. I haven't made a cent. You can check my banking account with me.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife is yelling at me right now because of that reason.
But I know you give a lot to the kids
Oh,
too.
yeah. No, we're going to keep
I will
on.
say that from someone on the outside looking in, you and I have done a lot of work over the years, and I know that you have made investments into the kids, into the kids within your program. So
Yes.
congrats to you, and that's why whenever a parent reaches out to me looking for a place for their kid to go, I always refer them to you and have them give you a call so that you guys can see if it's a good fit, because I know that you do
Appreciate
care
that.
about the kids.
And we're going to keep trying. One last thing. I know that's pretty much it on the military showcase piece. Like I say, the link and everything will come out next month. And you can definitely sign up at that time. And we're going to plug it every episode. So you're going to hear about it. But I want to change gears just a little bit and talk about, I did my very first 5K. And, well, not my very first, but my first in 6 years. So
Nice.
since I retired from the military, I haven't been running or doing anything like that. So
I have never done a 5K
Oh, man, listen.
or anything like half marathons or
Hey,
none of
brother.
that stuff.
And I want to give shout out to Coach Pittman Kennedy, because he's the one who kind of inspired me, because he'd be talking so much trash about me, about, my fitness. And he kind of ran a half marathon a month ago. And I was like, "You ran a half marathon?" He was like, yeah. I was like, "Okay, guess what? I'll run one in December with you." And we picked one. So this is my one of 12 to prepare for the half marathon.
Oh, 1 of 12 what?
One of 12 runs.
You're going to do 12 different runs?
Yeah. I have to do it by December.
Dang.
And
And so you completed one run, your 5K you did?
Yeah.
Congratulations. When was this?
This weekend, Saturday morning.
And
Woke
what
up.
was it for? What was the 5K for? Is it for a special cause, or is it just like 5Ks? There's
it's
just
the
run.
run.
I'm not into the running sport or
Yeah.
whatever, so I don't
Yeah.
know how that stuff works. 'Cause
Hey, listen, it's new to me too. So, of course, yeah, and I was looking on the website, and they have runs for everything, for causes, just for fun. So mine was a donut run. I didn't get the donut or the beer
That
that
sounds
came
really
with
good
it.
right now.
I know, but I didn't get it. I had to go get ready for the tournament. So I had to leave, and because Cole was playing, so I didn't get to partake in the free donut I was supposed to have and the free beer. So I missed out. But I did do the run.
how long did that take?
It took me 41 minutes.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Well,
Come on,
it depends
man.
on who you ask. If you ask me,
Actually,
shoot.
well, my goal is to try to do that in 30 minutes, 10-minute mile. That's my goal. But we're way off right now. We're 11 minutes off. We gotta fix that.
Hey, at least you did it, man.
Yeah, well,
Props, congrats on that. That's awesome.
I appreciate it. Like I said, I give props to those who inspired me, and it was Coach Pittman Kennedy. He was like, "Hey, man, you need to stop. Get out there and move some." Hey, you know what? This year we're gonna do that. So this year is dedicated to fitness. So that's why we did that, and that's why at the end of the year, I'm a attempt to run. San Antonio has a half marathon, and we're gonna attempt that. And so I just want to give a shout out to that.
Hey, congratulations. And
Thank you.
it's all about personal goals. I think when it comes to fitness, things like 5K, especially, well, any type of thing that you have a destination and you have a goal.
Yes.
And when you accomplish that goal, you can actually look back and measure and say, hey, I accomplished this goal.
Exactly.
I think that's really what these running events are, like 5K, because you have to be disciplined. Because I'll tell you right now, it would take a lot for me to run a 5K.
Yeah.
I don't even care if people was talking smack. I still ain't gonna run it. But it's just something that when you set your mind on something, and I think this can even translate to basketball. It should translate to life, with anything. You have a goal. It's not gonna be easy, but you work towards it.
Yes.
Mind over matter.
Yes.
And
I didn't mind at all.
and you do it. So congrats, man. That's awesome that you ran that you completed a 5K.
Yeah.
Did you get a medal or something?
Yeah, I did. I put it on my Facebook post. You know me and my Facebook.
Nice.
I'm always on Facebook. As far as that's my little. I need to get better at Twitter.
Are you in the metaverse? You gonna take your medal and put it inside the metaverse?
What is that? See, I need to see again. This is
You'll
the
wear
new
your medal
stuff.
in the metaverse. You'll
I need
be
to
doing your
understand
5K.
this. I don't know enough about that yet. I'm trying to learn all that. That's why I say I gotta get better at Twitter. See, you're the king. I be watching all your stuff you're on. You're killing it, man. You got the Insta. You on Twitter. You on YouTube. You a little bit on Facebook. Not enough yet. You gotta get. You help me on the other platforms, and I'll help you on Facebook. How
Hey,
about
man,
that?
we'll come together. Whatever avenues we can use to just put it out there, man.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
yeah, thank you, and yeah, we'll keep doing it.
Okay.
Well, this was a good episode, y'all. The very first episode of many of the TBScouts Talking Heads with your man Boris and Coach Tally.
Yes, sir.
I guess until next week,
That's it.
how we gonna sign this off?
I don't know. Just say bye, maybe.
All
Just
right.
now until we come up with some cool catchphrase or something. Just like, hey, I don't know.
All
But
right.
now, I like bye.
Okay, bye sounds good.
That sounds good.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.